Hi, I'm Jim from Left Wing Libertarian.
And I am Anna from Beautygirlsmom.com.
Happy holiday.
Happy Independence Day. It's
Independence
the 4th of July.
Apparently there were several people who were asked on various news sources what the holiday was this weekend. They didn't know.
Well, they knew it was the 4th of July.
Well, that's just the date.
There are some people that did not know that the 4th of July in the United States is Independence Day. That's what we celebrate. We don't celebrate, it's the 4th
It's
of July.
on the 4th of July.
But it's like saying we celebrate the 25th of December.
Yeah.
No,
when we know it's the solstice.
Christmas.
Solstice. Move on.
Move on.
So.
Before you move out.
What did we do for the 4th?
We shipped all of our kids out. So we had our own independence thing going on.
Well, Friday was, we had to go over, you went and bought a dress, and then we went to Chess Cafe, check it out, and we got to see Independence Mall with the events that were going on over the holiday weekend.
Yes.
And then today, the kids were gone, so you and I went for a drive to go check out a few...
Couple wedding venues.
Did a drive-by. Mm-hmm. And then we went to fine dining.
We went to Joe's Crab Shack.
Joe's Crab Shack. So here starts our official review. Joe's Crab Shack. We've been there now. We went outside the Great Lakes Naval Station one weekend. Mm-hmm. We took your mother and Bob. Mm-hmm. We took the Andersons. Mm-hmm. And then we were back this time. Is that really it?
We went once or twice in Orlando when we were down there.
I think maybe once or twice. Yeah, over there by Celebration area. Mm-hmm. Yep. So we've been there a handful.
We have.
I believe our review would be hit and miss.
Yeah, it's definitely hit and miss. I think, I'm not sure why we've gone back. We had...
Well, that's a pretty good review there.
No, we had like a decent meal that everybody was happy with, and then we went back and had kind of a crappy meal.
Yeah. The one in Great Lakes, outside of the Great Lakes Naval Station, we had a great meal.
We had a great meal, which maybe brought us back another time, which was a crappy meal.
Yeah.
And then my mother and Bob wanted to try it because they thought Joe's Crab Shack would have their kind of crabs, which are like the Maryland, the blue crabs. So we went with them, and it was an okay meal. I mean, they don't have Maryland blue crabs, so my parents were disappointed. But our kids love snow crabs, and they had an enjoyable snow crab meal.
Yeah, and I think we also went one time after a trip, because as some of you viewers know, we're in the process of trying to get a camp up in Maine. And so we had just come from seafood places up there. And
and that really does cloud. Yeah, it really does cloud your perception of fresh local seafood.
Yeah, because Joe's Crab Shack is not local seafood from the Jersey Shore. It's a chain like Red Lobster. They bring it in from wherever.
Yeah, and I think that's the mistake that we made taking my mother and Bob. They thought it was a crab place.
Yeah.
So they expected fresh local crabs, a big crab pot. Like they would make it home. When I was growing up, Bob would go and buy crabs by the bushel.
Yeah, put down the newspaper and sit on the floor.
Put down the newspaper. Then we'd cook them and clean them. And, that was like a Friday night dinner. We would spread newspaper out on the table, and my mother and Bob would have a cold beer. We would have, a glass of iced tea or a Coke, and we would just sit there and have crab for dinner.
Well, now this is Studio Anna. If we could pan, version 2.0, if we could pan the camera around to the living room, we have previously, moved the tables out of the way, sat on the floor with the kids with, you would cook soft shell crabs. No, what was it? Snow crabs. Snow crabs, yeah. And we'd be sitting there with a movie playing, and the kids would all sit on the floor for an hour or so having crabs.
Yeah.
So it's, okay, is it Chicky and Pete's? Mm-hmm. Is that a chain, or is that local? I mean, they have several locations.
Chicky and Pete's is a local chain, kind of like Tony Luke's is a local chain. I mean, they have multiple locations, but it's not a national chain.
But is it still local, or is it more to the chain side of things?
Chicky and Pete's is still local. I think it's only Philadelphia area.
So it's local with multiple locations.
Yeah, let me know if we're wrong, but I'm pretty sure Chicky and Pete's is just local to our area.
Okay. So you'll notice that I'm wearing my bib because Anna wore hers at the restaurant.
I did.
Picture of it on Facebook and attached to this video. And at one point in time, Anna commented that she can't take me anywhere.
I said I can't take you nice places.
Can't take you nice places.
Of course, there we are at Joe's Crab Shack.
Yeah, with a shack in its name.
I don't know how much of a nice place it is, but...
I don't want to reflect on our other restaurant reviews, but when you...
You were sitting there picking your crab, and it was flying all over. I mean, thank goodness there was not a table. We were up against a wall, a low wall, but at one point a piece of your crab went flying across this. I just hope no one was injured in the process. That's really what I hope.
And that's the point when she goes, I can't take you anywhere nice. And I said, this place has Shack in its name. How much nicer
I
you
can't
want?
even take you to a Shack. You're flinging food all over. So we're getting off track.
Hold on.
Reviewing Joe's
Okay,
Crab
so
Shack.
Joe's Crab Shack today.
Yes.
There was something
Super
seriously
waiter.
wrong with my lobster.
Super waiter. I just want to
His
say
name was
that.
Walt.
His name was Walt. He was phenomenal. He was at our table numerous times.
Yep.
He put up with your bad jokes, which you make at every restaurant. Some people just don't even like
Didn't make any bad jokes.
tolerate.
So,
Hey, what's wrong with my lobster?
yeah, what's wrong with my lobster? So he comes by and he asks, how are things? And I said, there's something wrong with my lobster. And he was concerned. I mean, seriously concerned.
Mm-hmm.
And Anna said, the kids aren't with us. His lobster has meat in it. Like, we just, because I sat there and opened up the lobster and had all this meat peeled and ready to, taken apart from the shell, from the lobster and the crabs. And there was no kid there.
You have gotten very accustomed to breaking down a lobster or a crab and handing it out across the many mouths that we have to feed. But yeah, it was our Independence Day. We got to eat a meal without having to break lobster and crab apart for the children. It was fabulous.
I don't know, was it? I missed the kids at that point.
I know.
I did not. There was no one missing them while we were riding around holding hands.
I know.
Looking at wedding
and then
venues.
we got to the restaurant
Yeah.
and you didn't have anybody to feed. And
Anybody to take food off my plate.
I know.
It was.
But I think today's meal was a good meal. Today, based solely on today's meal, we would probably return to Joe's Crab Shack.
Yeah.
I had the queen crab legs bucket
With the Old Bay.
with Old Bay seasoning. If you don't use the butter, which I didn't, and I did not eat the corn or the potatoes because I was pretty full just on the crab legs. 90 calories, I think it said, or 110 calories. Some outrageously low number for a really delicious meal. Now, did I screw up and have fried calamari? I did, but I didn't have a lot of fried calamari. And the calamari,
Tasty.
it was light. The batter was light. The rings of calamari were not rubbery. They were delicious. They were very tender. The other thing we ate, because we ordered the sampler, was a
Calamari, some jalapeno poppers, or jalapeno
hot
hush
crab
puppies.
balls or something it was called.
Hot balls or
I'm not
something,
sure what
yeah.
it was called. Great Balls of Fire. That's what it was. Which was a fried and breaded ball of crab meat, cheese, and diced jalapeno. Had a nice flavor. You were looking for a spice. It didn't really have a heat to it. It was a nice flavor. The other thing was the crab dip, which I thought was okay.
Yeah.
It was nothing special.
But that appetizer sampler could easily feed the two of us and the 2 or 3 kids.
Oh yeah, we could have easily split that because we took half of it home with us.
Yeah.
We brought half of that home. You had the Lobster Daddy.
Yeah, I guess so, because it's written on the bib somewhere.
Is it written on the bib? I don't think it is written on the bib.
What's written on the bib?
Real Men Wear Bibs.
Oh, Real Men
And
Wear
Let's Get
Bibs.
Crackin'.
Okay.
But I think you ordered the Lobster
Yours
Daddy.
had your name on it. It said like Crab Queen or something. It was the Queen Crab Pot.
Yeah.
And I ordered it with what was their hot and spicy seasoning that they steam it in.
Mine was
Everything
Old Bay.
relative. It had a little bit of a spice to it. But I mean, that's what happens
heat,
with,
though.
yeah.
You really like heat. I had Old Bay seasoning. It made everything delicious. I mean, like, lick your fingers kind of delicious. I really enjoyed the flavor of it. But one thing that I've found on previous visits is the crab sometimes is dry.
Yeah.
Like, it's over steamed. There's no moisture
Or it's just
to it.
not fresh. I mean, it's
And
frozen
it
and old.
doesn't taste good. Like, it doesn't have a good flavor. It just tastes bland. There's nothing. This was very moist. It was well seasoned. The crab itself was succulent. It wasn't just dry, flavorless crab,
Yeah.
which we have gotten at Joe's Crab Shack on previous visits. So I would say, based solely on this experience, we would probably go back to Joe's Crab Shack. It was not a bad meal.
Yeah.
A little pricey for 2 of us. It was, before tip, $82 for the 2 of us.
Okay, now, just to put in perspective, this morning when we set out without kids, the conversation was, where were we going to go for dinner tonight? Angler's Seafood.
Angler's Seafood.
Yep, in
Or
Maine.
Angler's Restaurant.
Angler's Restaurant in Maine. Yeah. I mean, it was a serious conversation of, hey, let's go. And then we were reminded that the dog was here all by herself. And
Yeah,
so
we weren't going anywhere.
Yeah. But I mean, we actually pulled out the GPS, had the locations, the distance, because the conversation was, can we make it there in time for dinner? But if you consider how much dinner would have cost us in Maine and the gas to go up and back, it probably would have been close to what we spent to eat at Joe's. The only difference
Well, that's
is
because we drove around for a really long time before we ended up at Joe's.
No, I
which
mean,
is 2
yeah.
miles down the road.
Yeah. But I mean, the gas to drive to Maine and back.
That really kind of killed it.
Well, yeah, there's just a tank of gas. No big deal.
But yeah, I feel like dinner up there for the two of us would have probably been about $50.
Yeah.
So,
and the other thing is that we've learned from going to
and that's without
restaurants in
alcohol.
Maine.
We had iced tea. We didn't have
Yeah, we had
alcohol.
iced tea. Yeah.
So
If you have a
little
really
pricey
good
for
fresh
2
piece of
people.
seafood, you do not need to drown it in the butter.
Yeah, and I didn't use my butter today, which again, in visits past to Joe's, like you need the butter to
Yeah, to
kind
kind
of
of moisten it,
rehydrate,
yeah.
rehydrate the lobster, the crab meat.
This is dehydrated. How do we get the water back in? It's like the cheesy poof when you put it in your mouth and go and suck all the air out of
Yeah.
it. Like it's just
So Joe's Crab Shack,
still hit or miss.
not fancy. We would say it's a hit or miss. If you can go and get a good plate of food, you do get plenty of food. The entrees or the buckets, which is what they're known for, they run about $25 a piece for the bucket.
And I'm sure they changed the menu throughout the year to seasonally adjust it for some things, but
They might. I don't know.
I guess that's the bad part. It's a chain. It's available. It's kind of it's there. I mean, it's not something to go out of your way for a special family event.
Although we've done. That's how we ended
Well,
up
that's
there
how we
the
tried
last
it a
time
couple
with
times,
your
and-
mother and Russell. He wanted to go
Yeah.
for Father's Day or for his birthday or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, we keep kind of getting dragged back there because of, families. wanting
Well,
to try it.
you wanted to go to Michael's. You needed stuff for some event, and it was there in the shopping center.
Yeah.
It kind of just worked out.
Yeah.
Not really a great review.
Yeah, we didn't tell them very much about the restaurant.
I mean, it's Joe's
So,
Crab Shack. It's a
fun
chain.
place.
You get
It's a big
T-shirts.
warehousey kind of feel.
Yeah, they have a big giant shark stuffed thing there to crawl under, and
Yeah. But it was we had a good meal today.
some people might go there and hang out at the bar and rave about the place. I mean, it just depends upon what you're looking for. But if you're going there for fine dining, I mean, it's
It's not.
not.
You're going to get your hands dirty. You're going to wear a bib, if not because you're messy.
Have food
because
flown through the
Your
air.
husband is going to be flinging food across the table. I would say on a scale of 1 to 5, we would average Joe's about a 2.5 or 3.
Okay, so now let's compare it to our other option for lunch today. We drove past a guy with a 55-gallon drum cut in half, flipped over, sitting on the side of the road cooking barbecue.
Yeah,
That would have gotten us less money.
less money.
We would have gotten, I mean, it smelled good driving by it. We turned around and drove back past it the second time. I mean, that would have been a better meal for less money.
Well, we don't know.
And we
if it
wouldn't have
been
even
a
had
better
the
meal.
shack. Well, it smelled better.
It smelled.
Yeah.
It smelled
And we didn't get it
But
bad.
we had a good meal today. We are so screwing up this review. We had a good meal today at Joe's Crab Shack. The crab was delicious. Mine was really well seasoned with the Old Bay. The appetizer was done really well. Fried food, probably not something you order all the time, but fried calamari, I have a lot of issues with at other places. The breading is very dense. The rings are rubbery. I can't even eat them. This was lightly, flavorful breading with really well cooked rings of calamari.
Okay, so gastric bypass safe, is it?
I've always been able to eat crab after gastric bypass, so
Scallops are hit and miss, but crabs are
scallops,
always...
again, it depends on how long they cook them.
Yeah.
We probably have gone to Joe's where that overcooked crab would have been difficult to eat, but today was a perfect meal. The crab buckets generally come with ear corn, and
Some potatoes.
new potatoes, red skin potatoes. You can change that for French fries and hush puppies, which again, if you've had gastric bypass surgery, that it's the unhealthier choice, but it's probably easier for you to
It's
digest.
the unhealthier choice for anybody, though.
Well, yeah. But yeah, we had a really good meal today. Great service, very friendly, and
It's definitely a fun place to take the kids.
it is.
All right, Joe's Crab Shack versus Red Lobster.
Joe's Crab Shack.
Why? It's cheaper.
I don't think it's any cheaper, but I think if you're going for a seafood dinner and you want the crab and the lobster and the shrimp, I don't feel like it's as processed as Red Lobster's is. Red Lobster, I feel like, they gotta
Well, it's a
throw
very
in-
big, huge production. They're much bigger restaurants.
Yeah, but I feel like they have to throw in like sauces and rices and stuff to kind of bulk up what they give you for seafood. When you go
And
to
they bulk it up
Joe's-
with the cheesy bread.
Yeah. When you go to Joe's, you're getting 1.25 pounds or more crab legs. It's a healthy sized portion, a generous sized portion. You can get fried shrimp. You can get non-seafood items there. But if you're going out for a seafood meal and there's not a local shore restaurant that you like, you know, that you go to, I just feel like it's less commercialized flavor and seafood at Joe's.
Okay. How hard is it to cook the crab legs at home?
Well, I've had hit or miss at home too. If there's not enough meat in the legs, I can overcook it, and I have. But typically, you know, you throw it in the microwave with some water to steam it.
A water steamer,
steam it in
saran
a
wrap,
pot.
or that cling foil over top of it, whatever.
Yeah, or you just steam it in a pot, and you don't have to cook it long. You just really have to heat it up.
And I guess that's what makes Joe's Crab Shack's review hit or miss, leaning towards bad, is it's not a complicated thing to cook. And they should be cooking it all the time.
They're cooking it all the time, but they're cooking a lot of it. They're doing other things in the kitchen. And I think, you know, there might be something to do with, was the crab previously frozen? How long was it frozen? You know, does it kind of shrivel up when it's in there? How big are the legs? Like I had queen crab legs today, which are a little bit bigger than snow crab legs. So that might help avoid overcooking because there's more meat in them. But yeah, I mean, today was a good meal.
So somebody watching this who stars on the show Deadliest Catch, are they going to be cursing at you because the meal should cost even more for what they risk to go through this?
I have seen Deadliest Catch. I don't think those people get paid enough. We would not be able to ever afford crab legs based on the effort that goes into catching the crab legs. All due respect to the people on Deadliest Catch and the crab fishermen, because that is some scary shit out there. But yeah, we could not afford it based on what they have to go through to catch it. But it was a good meal today.
All right. So that's a pretty much all-inclusive hit or miss, 2.5 out of 5 stars, maybe 3 sometimes?
Maybe 3.
Was today a 3 by itself?
Today was a 3. Today was maybe even a 3.5.
Okay.
All right, I am Anna from Beautygirlsmom.com. If you'd like more rambling restaurant reviews, more your people.
I mean, that's the kind of review you want. I mean, if you need a review of a shack, we are your people.
We are your people. Just hit the subscribe button wherever you see it on your screen.
We'll see you real soon at your neighborhood shack.